Big tough men. They're Mr. Sturdivant, Mr. Clark. That's a good offensive line right there. Mr. Gardner, the quarterback. That's a solid Smith team, Dennis.
Yeah, it certainly is.
If these guys can take what they showed us tonight, take that to the field tomorrow night, along with Coach Kirkpatrick, I think we might see a pretty good game here.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that is surprising.
I like the confidence of this team.
Yes, sir.
And I like the serious approach.
And then when we did the 15-15 during the summer, those are the gentlemen that Coach Kirkpatrick talked about. These are his leaders. These are the guys that he depend on. These are the gentlemen that he say, here is the keys to this new Smith vehicle, and you all going to take us as far as we can go. And I'm like you, and I'm very impressed. Very intelligent, nice kids.
Very intelligent. They're in the academy. These guys are studying, getting the work done.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Yeah, Desmond is one of my kids from over at Harrison. Remember Desmond, always been a good kid, always been very polite.
Desmond Sturdivant, his uncle was here earlier, and Desmond on the ball, and Cameron Clark, 6'4", 240. I mean, if I see a guy junior in high school, 6'4", 240, I know that guy's got a chance to do something one day.
Yeah, and when you look at him, he is not the typical big lineman. He's
got a frame.
Yeah, he's got a frame.
Looks like a defensive end almost.
Exactly. And probably his finesse and his speed probably caused him having an A-gap and B-gap control with the type of defensive scheme that they run in that 4-3.
I got to be like it's Coach Kirkpatrick. You go over to Smith, you see these kids, say, man, I might have some guys to work with. These guys got some possibilities.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And anytime, Andy, you got something to work with, it's a work in progress. And Coach Kirkpatrick has done an outstanding job. Wonderful coach. He has a lot of future in him to be a good coach in Greensboro or wherever his coaching career leaving. He's an outstanding coach.
He's dedicated to the kids, too.
He loved the kids. He loved the kids because he remembered that's what made him the man that he is. He give credit back to all the coaches, Coach Kirby, all the coaches that.
And Coach Floyd, Coach Davis.
That made a big impact when he was at Page. And they brought him along and gave him his start, and now he's on his own.
It's good, too. You look at coaches like Coach Kirkpatrick, Coach Partee, they come over from Dudley, but they come over to Smith and embrace those guys. Thank you, guys. And there's our other guys. Congratulations, guys. Good to see these guys. Doing well? Doing well. Good game last week. 174 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Solid work. Good to see you guys. Take care. Good luck tomorrow night. Austin Coltrane and the Northern Gilbert Knights. Might have seen Mr. Ritberger there.
Yeah.
So that red head there. Might have been Mr. Ritberger.
They surprised me coming in. I guess they just want to come and stop by and football focus, even they're not on. That's heads up to Northern. About, 5 or 6 of their players?
At least about 6 or 7. Yeah.
That's good, man. They following us everywhere we go. We got a good following.
Good group of kids. And another good thing about that, too, is maybe Austin was here that early in the season after that one game, and maybe the food was good to him that week.
Yes, sir.
Decided to bring the guys back.
Hey, guys, load up with me. I'm Austin Coltrane. Let's go.
If you get a certain place you eat on a certain day and it's working for you, that food's good for you. I mean, you just keep coming back.
Yes, sir. You're exactly right, Jock. I know I've been a part of you for about the last 10 years, and you always have your favorite stops.
You probably know where I'm at every day of the week.
Yes, sir.
If it's a certain time of the day, I'll get a certain place every day.
That's at the Durham
about
spot.
that routine.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I've joined the ranks of the routine.
Everybody talks about Sunday nights. Sunday nights over at CC's. You hit that on Sundays. Everybody knows about Shane's Rib Shack for lunch on Thursdays. Be here every Thursday night during the football season, but you get those routines, and it's like clockwork.
There's some good food and good football. And I'm like you, I think we're going to have a better game than anticipated on tomorrow, and already in the community around the barbershop.
If Christian Gardner's ready, I think they're going to be ready. I think he will be.
Yeah.
He's got a good mindset. He was over there back in the 9th grade, so he knows the territory.
He knows the territory well. And the word is already out. The buzz is about in the barbershops and in the streets. Dudley and Smith rivalry is set. It's all 24 hours away, and we'll be ready. We'll be there on the spot. It's right now 7:50. Yeah, right at 24 hours, and we'll be ready for another good, exciting backyard rivalry.
Yeah, if I'm Smith on that defensive line or that linebacker spot, I'm thinking about that Emmanuel Mosley chasing Emmanuel.
Yeah,
got to be ready for him.
And then it's going to be very interesting on how Dudley change up their offensive scheme. I can't see them changing up that much because, as we said, Coach Kirkpatrick is the eagle eye of that program, and he knows all about it. So it's going to be very interesting. interesting to see what type of changes they make.
It was interesting to talk to Coach Kirkpatrick, too. I wasn't aware of all of his college work. I knew about all of his high school work along with Carlos Doggett, his fine running back. They were together over at Page under Coach Kirby. And Coach Davis and Coach Floyd were there, too. So he's been with Coach Davis for a long time. Had him as a coach and ended up coaching with your former coach.
Yeah.
And then made that move to Mississippi. Junior college football in Mississippi was like Mr. Summers made.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, you know, Coach Davis come from a junior college as well.
He did.
Yeah, he come from Shawan. And Shawan Junior College. So both of those guys are JUCO. And both of those guys are coming in. Now the coaches ranked doing an outstanding job. But then it's kind of hard to go against someone that I think he might have the record. I think Kirkpatrick might have the record. He was your coach. You coached with him. Now you're coaching against him.
Right.
How many times have you seen that in your era, Andy Durham?
All he needs to do, though, is find some way to eventually end up over maybe as the athletic director at Grimsley. He would have been at Page as a player, assistant coach at Smith, head coach, or assistant coach at Dudley, head coach at Smith, and athletic director at Grimsley. So that way, he would have covered everything.
Speaking some in the future, you never know how these things work out. But
you don't know how the ambitions are.
Right? He went down to Livingstone, a great program.
And I like Livingstone down around Salisbury because that's you can get hidden down there, go in kind of quietly, go about your job. He said they won 2 CIAAs.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that had to probably be, historic for Livingstone to win those titles.
Yeah, exactly right. Livingstone Golden Bears, they're called. Livingstone is a matter of fact, the guys I went to high school with, 4 of them was recruited to Livingstone. Too bad Livingstone wasn't looking for kickers. I would have probably ended up there.
I think Natron Means ended up down there one time, assistant coach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Natron Means.
He didn't play there. We know he played at North Carolina and played for San Diego in the pros. I think he ended up down at Livingstone as a coach.
Yeah, Means went down to Livingstone as a coach. There's been a lot of good people go through Livingstone, great alumni there. Coach Kirkpatrick, outstanding gentleman.
Oh, he is, and he knows the game so well. He's been, like you said, a student of the game. Yeah. We asked him a question back when you were a player. Were you already taking down, getting ideas in your mind about how to run practices, what coaches do, certain things, times of the day? I mean, it's all based on time of the day.
Yeah.
The sun goes down, it's about time to get inside no matter what.
And I'll tell anyone, I think one of the best high school coaches is the one that has been a quarterback, because a quarterback you bring in, you know how to read defense, you know how to get your offensive line. It's almost like you are 5 coaches in one as a quarterback coach, because that is one of the most skilled positions on the football field. And like you say, he's have to study defense, he have to know the schemes. Coach Kirkpatrick is a well-rounded guy, because you look at the 2 state championships that Dudley have, they come from a page out of Coach Kirkpatrick's book.
He was right there, offensive coordinator, back when they won those 2. One of those wins against Kannapolis, I think the other against Charlotte Catholic. I think 2 losses. One came against Gastonia Ashbrook, and the other came against Crest. I think Crest at that time may have had Brandon Spikes.
That's right.
And we know what he's doing these days.
He's doing an outstanding job. Brandon Spikes doing an outstanding job.
Saw him on TV last week, man.
Yeah, he don't play around, I tell you.
Let's get back to Dennis. We'll kind of work this right on back where we were. We were talking about all the different players that have done so good from Guilford County. We were kind of moving toward the college end here at Shane's Rib Shack. Talking about the Tar Heels, they could be in a little bit of trouble right now. They got Miami next. They're off this week, got Miami next. The Tar Heels could be in a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I can understand the loss against South Carolina, but when you start losing against East Carolina had certainly, Coach Ruff was an alumni.
Oh, he's doing well.
He's doing an outstanding job. And I think Carolina really didn't realize how much their defense was lacked, because they was building on offense.
Yeah.
And then end up, your defense was your Achilles heel. And so they got to get some defense from somewhere, because you can run a high-power offense and your defense is lacking, and you can't win ball games that way. And consequently, that's what happened to the Tar Heels.
Tell you one thing, that Marquise Williams, say what you will, he came in for Bren Renner last week, came in for Renner. I thought Williams had a very good game. I listened to that game. I don't watch much TV. I usually catch a game on the internet on Saturday, catch them on the radio, but checked out most of that game with Jones Angel, and I guess it was Rick Steinbacher calling that game. Solid game last week. So Dennis, one of the relatives there.
Yeah, that's the assistant principal at, that's her son. She made me aware. That's the assistant principal, Miss Clark at Harrison Middle School. And,
wow.
She let me know she had a big son. She told me she had a big son.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's Miss Clark, assistant principal at Harrison.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
She's an Dudley alumni.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, and that's the thing about it.
That kid is still growing too.
He's still growing. And you have a lot of Dudley alumni. The kids go to Smith, and a lot of Smith, a lot of kids So that's a big rivalry. But like you're saying, Carolina, they're going to have to find some defense somewhere.
What about, look at some other things here. What about Jadeveon Clowney? Talked about him a little bit earlier. What about this injury bug? Do you think Jadeveon's really banged up pretty bad, or do you think he might be kind of setting the stage? We hate to, speculate about the kid, but there are possibilities, He might be trying to make sure he doesn't get himself beat up too bad or in bad shape where he can't be ready for the pros.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think, Andy, that one-show aspiration and one-show goal is set on the pros, and you see Lattimore, as I alluded to earlier, one that had stardom wrote all over him and what happened to him.
And they said that Clowney's right there. He saw that happen when Lattimore went down.
Exactly. So that can put chills right down your spine. And Andy, I read in an article that Clowney was planning on actually sitting out this year because he would have still been the top defensive prospect going in.
Even if he didn't play at all. Yeah.
Even if he didn't play at all.
And he knows if he plays and gets banged up, and if the problem with him right now, they say a lot of it is the fact that the guys are running the other way.
Yeah.
They're running away from it.
And I can't blame him. I would run away from him.
Me too. I saw him out there. I'd take him back to the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
I'd go back to the kitchen and say, this guy's the cook.
You're exactly right. Javon Clowney, Andy, when I heard of his name through some of my coaches from Chester, they were saying, you wouldn't believe this guy in the 9th grade. Actually, in the 9th grade, Andy, every high school team was fearful of Clowney in the 9th grade as a freshman. And then as he got in his sophomore and junior year, started winning state championship. And I'm glad he stayed in the state of South Carolina, though.
Carolina Panthers in trouble?
Yeah, Carolina Panthers are really in trouble, I think, right now. Again, we talked about defense. Their offense is struggling. Last year, there were some promises coming back in with Cam and the good, fine receiver, Steve Smith. And I think the Panthers are struggling. Their struggle is they played 3 good games. I mean, they could very well, you and I talked last week, Panthers could very well have 4 games as wins rather than being 1-4 is their record.
Yeah, and last week they just laid an egg out in Arizona. Had a 6-3 halftime lead. You're playing good defense in that game. Only giving up 3 points at halftime.
Exactly.
But then the second half, it got away from them.
And that's been the thing, the story of Carolina Panthers for the last 3 years since Ron Rivera's been there. They can't find a way to win at the end. They find a way to lose, but they can't find a way to win.
Got to be able to finish.
You're exactly right.
Cannot finish.
You got to be a finisher.
What about top quarterback right now in Guilford County? We got the Jamel Matt kid at High Point Central. Got Mosley at Dudley. Got Austin Coltrane, just saw Austin a few minutes ago here. We had Jake Simpson in line earlier in the year, and then he got hurt. But what about the top quarterback? We probably talk about this every week now, which we probably should since the season's winding down. Just about 6 regular season games to go. Who's the top QB right now? It's not Teddy Bridgewater. We see Teddy on TV there. He's in Louisville. But the top QB right now in Guilford County.
Yeah, the top QB, in my opinion, is Emmanuel Mosley. You're talking about Mosley have 467 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, and he's thrown for 6 touchdowns with a combined of 14 touchdowns. He accounted for 8 on the ground and 6 in the air. That is great. And also, you can't leave Jamal Mack out, but Mack don't have the impressive numbers like Emmanuel Mosley. Emmanuel Mosley is that offensive leader for Dudley, and he is an outstanding quarterback. He's a student of the game, very smart, and he is a team leader.
That's I think in some ways Mosley hasn't had to put up quite the numbers that Mack has. Right. Mack has put up some, it'd blow you away if you saw his actual numbers. They're huge, almost in line with last year's quarterback, Justin Johnson. But those quarterbacks and even the running backs, when they get a chance, the receivers really too. Receivers got some big numbers at Central. With Coach Jones' offense, they're going to get a chance to get their hands on the ball and put up those big numbers. But I just like with Mosley, he hasn't had to put up quite as big a numbers over there at Dudley this season. But we talk about top quarterback Mosley. What about the top running back right now in the county?
Top running back in the county, I've got to go with.
You got some good possibilities. You got Gillespie. You got the possibility of Cartwright. Gillespie, Southern Guilford, Cartwright, High Point Andrews. You got the emergence of C.J. Freeman at Northern Guilford. You got Mack, who's at Southwest Guilford, not a lot of yards, but running hard. You got the Bovion kid at Western. Didn't show us anything last week, but he's got some decent numbers. I mean, you got all those kids at Southeast Guilford. Southeast Guilford, four-headed monster. You got Shakir Turner. You got C.J. McThay. You got Khalid Boswell. You got Antonio Moore. At Page, you got this guy is a do-everything guy, but you got to call him a running. Jalen Gavin's like a running back. Who is the top running back in Guilford County?
In my opinion, I think Gillespie. Gillespie put up great numbers last week, 5 touchdowns. Gillespie have 9 900 yards, 12 touchdowns. Gillespie he doesn't have that high-power offensive line. He does all this on his own. And when you're a running back and you can get in the outside, and once Gillespie get on the outside, Katie about to do it. He is one that
For
knows.
a big man, he's got
yes,
some
sir.
speed.
You're exactly right, Jock. You're exactly right. And a great thing about Gillespie is he is a very humble kid. When you and I saw him warming up, he was away from the team. He was on the track getting his focus by himself, making up in his mind that I'm going to take this team that now 3-4, I'm going to put them on my back, and we're going to make some things happen.
How about the top defensive player now in Guilford County?
There is no doubt about the registration. You have to register, and the way to register is Chris Register. He is the minister of defense. It goes through Register. Register is one of those defensive players. He don't take off plays. Register will put his team in position to say, hey, leave it up to me. He's a team player. He's different than Featherstone, take off a little bit, but Chris Register, he is a hard-nosed, wonderful guy. The difference between him and the defense at Northern, Dudley defense is a solo defensive team. Northern is a game-tackling team. And so that's a big difference because Dudley will have more solos and Northern will have more assistants. When you have a guy like Register in the middle, you don't need any help because when he's sticking, you're stuck, man.
It's over, right?
It's over. Yes, sir. One-man wrecking crew. Yes, sir.
And Pratt at Central still, you fall into that top defensive kind of player.
He does.
A very good return man to go with it.
You're exactly right. It's a
Register's going to Clemson. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Down there with DJ Reader.
Register is going to Clemson.
Could have two Guilford County kids in the starting lineup for Clemson.
Dabo Swinney, that's right.
And that's the number 3 team in the country right now, right?
Right now they're rolling with Taj
DJ
Barr.
Reader with the number 3 team in the country.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Who would have dreamed that you would have turned down the Terrapins and go down to Dabo Swinney?
And the Terrapins are leaving the ACC.
Yeah, exactly.
See you later.
Yeah, that's right.
They got their up and coming last Saturday when Florida State ripped them apart about 63 years.
And I think they're going to avoid paying that big time money, that amount that you have to pay to leave a conference.
Yeah.
I think they're working that out because they stayed another year or so. And then one good thing about ACC, you got 5 more joining your conference.
Man.
Notre Dame will replace the Maryland Terrapins any day. So
and you got Louisville coming in. Louisville's got that program established. Syracuse, Pittsburgh. Wow, especially in basketball, the ACC is going to be loaded.
It's going to be loaded.
Women's basketball too, and Notre Dame extremely strong there.
You're exactly right.
So tomorrow night, I'm thinking about Smith. If I'm Smith and that Dudley offensive line, because Smith's defense, their defensive line for Smith, they got to get those Dudley players. It's like, get off of me, man. You got to get that off of me so you make the tackles. Because if those Dudley players get inside on those guys and take over, they could be pushing them back. Boy, the Smith defense has just got to, your reaction time has got to be extremely quick, extremely precise, extremely deliberate. Got to get the man off you and find the ball carrier.
Yeah, you're exactly right because of the way they pursue so fast. I think, and if I'm Coach Kilpatrick, I'm going to the shenanigans school. I'm going to come out with so many tricks. I'm going to come out with every trick I can think of.
Every trick in the book.
Every trick in the book. Because you've got to keep that Dudley defense guessing. Because if you don't keep that Dudley defense guessing, if Dudley get a hold of you, Andy, it's almost.
But do you do those tricks early? Because if you do them early and they don't work, then all of a sudden it just explodes up in your face, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is, Andy, every time they score, I'm going to come with a couple of tricks in that possession to try to score.
When Dudley scores.
When Dudley scores.
So your counter for them is going to be some tricks blended in.
You're exactly right. If they score, I'm going to come with a couple of trick plays to try to at least get me in a good, decent field position that I don't have to do a dance step, three steps and a kick, and give them another opportunity to score. So I want to try to do some things to misdirection to get that defense confused.
Well, Dennis, solid job tonight. Shane Tribshack, Football in Focus, for a big Thursday. Had the Smith Golden Eagles and went well. Had Coach Kirkpatrick coming in, had Mr. Cameron Clark coming in, had Christian Gardner coming in, and also had Mr. Desmond Sturdivant coming in. All those names going back without having to look back at those names, getting those guys down for tomorrow night's big game over at Dudley, Smith and Dudley, and we'll have that at Greensboro Sports Radio. Listen to some of the game from last Friday. Don Moore doing a great job.
Outstanding
Man, listen,
job.
that was just internet quality, the quality is better than actually radio quality.
Yeah, you're exactly
Really
right.
good.
Don is doing
Good
an
quality.
outstanding job. The field mics, Don have just brought in, he's an innovator.
Got some whole new elements.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate Don more. Every
Now
Friday
listen to
night.
some of your field mic work. It almost sounded like you were up in the booth. I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, it's crystal
good.
clear. Yeah, we've
Good
got
work.
the kinks worked out of it. And,
Well, listen to that Western Guilford halftime ceremony when they did the field naming, and listen to the man on the PA. Just happened to tune in one night. I was at Guilford College in their library working. Went to their computer. Had to be in the second story, second level at the Guilford Heggie Library. Tuned the computer on. They had the audio on that little computer. Didn't have to have any headphones. Just had it low enough to be able to listen to it. But I tuned that baby in right when that halftime ceremony started. Got to listen to that. Really sounded good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pageantry, a great night, and I'm glad they got that resolved. It makes you feel good, and I know you as an alumni, they make you feel good that they got giving everybody credit to what credit is due.
And I like that. I like that new movement they got going too down in front of the school. And if you saw the sign, probably didn't on your way out. I think they put it up as we were finishing up our work. Got a sign up front now down by the lower portion of the school. They got the brick wall and it says Western Guilford High School.
Good.
Put a sign up out there. Let's name this the Andy Durham side ditch. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's.
I'm going to endorse that. I'm certainly going to endorse that. I want to be somewhere near the Andy Durham side.
The side. Well, I've got the one that was named out where I lived at the airport as a kid. They already got that ditch up and trying to get another side ditch in honor of the hard efforts we did. That was a hot night out there.
Yeah, it was. You walked into that booth up there. And
Man, it was like an oven.
Yes, sir.
But our good friend Heath Lineberry had his fans going. Once he got those going, we were back in cool shape, good shape.
And then, a lot of times we don't give credit to people like Heath Lineberry.
yeah.
A lot of people that make it work but behind the scene, like Don Moore, does an outstanding job. I'm just excited to be a part of the Don Moore Friday
People would
night.
not believe how we pull all this off. I mean, we
You're
come
right.
out of the back of the trunk of a car, pull
Wow.
up to our spot, set this
Yeah,
stuff up and
yeah,
roll and
yeah.
get it all accomplished.
Yeah, you're exactly
and we're going
right.
worldwide.
And then do it in a quick time frame.
yeah.
We're on a time frame. Everything we do, we're from upstairs, downstairs, on the field, around, getting paper, pull it to phone. We have about 20 things going on, and we
Gotta
stay
get it done.
focused like football in focus, and we get it done, man. You're a mastermind. I'd like to be a part of it. Don't go to the ditch Hall of Fame right now. We may have some other accolades for you before you get to the ditch.
I'm in the ditch right now trying to get out, but I'm on my way to the top somewhere. Now, you did a good job out of Smith Golden Eagles, Coach Kirkpatrick and Christian Gardner, Desmond Sturdivant, Cameron Clark. They did a fine job tonight. Good.
Outstanding
We'll
job.
have some Dudley players in a few weeks. Still won't really mix the teams up too much tonight. Big
rivalry,
serious game tomorrow night. So
yeah,
we came in with Smith. Hadn't done anything with Smith all year.
You're
I
right.
don't think we had Smith in last year. They were struggling so much last year. Didn't want to really bother them during their time when there was some things were down, but we had to get them in tonight. They did a solid job. We'll be over there tomorrow night for the game and looking forward to Smith and Dudley on Friday. Football in Focus, James Rib Shack, Greensboro Sports Radio, greensborosports.com. Thanks for tuning in. It'll be up on YouTube later on, and Dennis, you'll keep us rolling.
Yes, sir. We'll keep it going to YouTube, and tomorrow, tune in to 97.7 inside the stadium. We're going to have 4 radios for the Dudley fans, and tomorrow, and the Smith fans, we're going to share those and let people listen in to that big rivalry game on tomorrow night inside the stadium with Don Moore.
Inside Shane's Rib Shack, great food. They've got the ribs, they got the barbecue, they got the chicken, got great burgers.
Keep talking, brother.
They got
Keep
wings,
talking.
they got chicken tenders, they've got okra, they've got
Chicken salad,
baked
man.
beans, they've
Yes,
got
sir.
macaroni and cheese, they've got the best time of the year right now, stew.
Yes.
Paul has that stew going like crazy, man. That stew pot is loaded up with stew. Great stew at Shane's Rib Shack. The young girls that work here work extremely hard. Always good to be here on Thursday nights.
I love it. And Andy Durham, you naming all that food down,
that
and we're
stew.
rubbing our stomachs. And they have the best food. And I love the toast. Even down to the toast is good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Great job here at Shane.
We'll see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in to GreensboroSports.com. Football in Focus for a Thursday. From Shane's Rib Shack, we'll see you next Thursday.